What is up, my friends? Man, so welcome back to Frogboy X1 Gaming. I'm Andrew, and today we're talking about the AMD 7900 XT. This card is an absolute freaking beast. I'm so happy that I switched from Nvidia over to AMD. Like this experience is just it's not even questionable. Like this thing is absolutely incredible. So this week, I have played the new WRC on this. I've played RoboCop, Rogue City. I've played Alan Wake 2, and plenty other games that I own on this card. And here's the biggest thing that separates my experience with Nvidia over to AMD, and the reason why I am literally happy every single day. Every time I buy a new game, I am very happy with the decision I made. When I had Nvidia, like the 3080, because my whole thing was I was gonna run that card on 1440p. Like that's what I bought it for. I figured, okay, this is a 4K card. If I buy that, that should give me a long time at 1440p. Like I should be good with that. And I think a lot of gamers thought that the 30 series was going to be good. But now that we're starting to see the 3070 fall through the cracks, we're starting to see the 3080 fall through the cracks. We're starting to see pretty much the whole 30 series fall through the cracks and not be able to provide a decent enough experience where at least where you thought you would be at with those cards. Obviously, you can keep dropping down the resolution or whatever and flipping on DLSS and probably still get somewhat of a playable experience. But I guarantee you're not getting the experience that you thought you were going to get after such a short time. And that really sucks. That absolutely sucks, man. I feel bad about that. Being able to play any game I want to play at 1440p, being able to max out the settings, being able to, utilize ray tracing, being able to utilize pretty much every feature my card has to offer, and now with the ability to use AMD's fluid motion frames, that even amplifies the experience on far more games than Nvidia has at this moment. To be completely clear, I can basically use AMD's fluid motion frames on any game that is DirectX 11 or DirectX 12. And I know at first I was a little bit like, yeah, I'm in the heck with fake frames and all of that stuff. Well, here's the thing. Here's the thing with that. Okay, so if you've already got a decent enough playable frame rate, like 60, 70, 80 frames a second or whatever, and then you flip on AMD's fluid motion frames on any of those games, that's usually about the sweet spot for it to run really, really well. You go ahead and flip that on, and it instantly just makes the visual quality, the overall visual sensation of the game that you're playing significantly better. Like it looks smoother, it looks cleaner. The actual added the way that you perceive the frame rate, like it might not feel like that frame rate, but it definitely does look like it's a much higher frame rate. So I understand, why the Nvidia guys are like, yeah, man, the DLSS frame generation is so good, whatever. Like I get it, like I understand that, and yes, it is. It is enough to trick your brain, honestly. Like it really is enough to trick your brain to believing that you've got a much smoother, higher quality experience while utilizing frame generation. Is it giving you like that actual frame rate? No, I mean obviously not. You're getting extra added latency. And just depending on how you're playing. I really don't recommend any kind of frame generation with mouse and keyboard. Like I just don't. If you're playing with a controller, like the perceived difference that you're going to see or feel is negligible. Honestly, it's negligible. You are going to feel like you are in 100% control of the game at all times, and it's going to look super smooth. So I do find it as a benefit, especially if you're playing something that is traditionally like pretty heavy on the CPU. You're going to see you're going to see a massive gain in just overall smoothness while you're playing that game, especially if you're not using a frame rate counter. If you're using a frame rate counter, obviously you're going to see the the dips, but it does hold pretty steady. I've played multiple games. I've tested multiple games. I like this feature so much that I haven't even updated my graphics card drivers to the newest drivers that are out there right now, because I feel like it does what it needs to do, and I like to test games as I'm playing them, as I'm getting them, as I'm going through this. So I am absolutely blown away with the quality and performance that I get from this AMD 7900 XT. And the funny thing is I know that AMD put themselves in this position, like I do, and there's rumors going on that they might be putting out like they might be pulling back on the high end graphics cards just so that they can turn a profit on the new AI what is it, like the M1300 or something, their new chips for like AI processing and stuff like that. And that would really suck. I would really hate to do that, because that might put me in a position to where I might end up going back to Nvidia. But as it sits right now, I mean, as long as, like, when we get to that point, like if my 7900 XT is still 100% performing when the new generation of graphics cards come out, like I don't really see myself needing to upgrade, as long as I can still hit my 1440p and still have fun with that. Now, I've had multiple games that are Unreal Engine 5, the Northlight engine, the upgrades for the Northlight engine. I'm being able to run that. I'm able to utilize the ray tracing and all of that stuff. With RoboCop, I'm able to utilize the ray tracing and everything at 1440p and getting well over 100 frames a second. So I'm actually, pretty ecstatic about that. I've got an hour and 40 minutes of RoboCop gameplay uploading right now that should be available here in a little while. I'm just so happy about this AMD, and when I hear people out there just bad-mouthing AMD, and like, especially people that do not actually have one or are using one right now, like I understand that AMD might have made some mishaps before, but I do think that since the 6000, well, I mean, even the 5000 series, 6000 series GPUs and 7000 series GPUs, I feel like they have been a much better experience overall, and started bringing graphics cards into the high-end market for the AMD side, which they had been sorely lacking for a long time. I'm excited about it. I can seamlessly switch between my Series S, my Series X, my PS5, and my PC, and have a far more consistent experience without all the extra added frustration, that Nvidia was bringing me. And that's the biggest thing. That's like one of the biggest things. With Nvidia, my expectations were just so high because they're the best in this and blah, blah, blah. And they're literally the best if you buy the best. If you buy like their top of the line. But when you start going down the stack and you start cutting out, and they start cutting out the features, and some of the cuts they make absolutely make zero sense if they're trying to keep customers. But I don't know if they're necessarily trying to keep customers, man. Like, I see people trying to justify buying like a 4070 Ti or a 4070, and I'm like, dude, just go buy a 7900 XT. It's the same price, and you get way more bang for your buck. But they're so afraid. They're like, oh man, I'm gonna miss out on my ray tracing, and DLSS 3.5 is gonna make my ray tracing a little less noisy. You're not even gonna be able to utilize ray tracing that well with a 4070 Ti. It is an absolute waste of money if you are buying that card for ray tracing. Why would you even do that? I bought a 3080, and I always was turning off ray tracing because it was just not good enough. Like, it wasn't good enough. So if you're thinking that you're going to go out and you're going to get a 4070 Ti and that's going to like give you a ray tracing, I think that, like, seriously, you'd be better off getting more VRAM and far more power at the 7900 XT than even playing around with the 4070 Ti. Like, I believe that the 7900 XT is going to last you significantly longer than any of the Nvidia cards. Maybe the 4080 and the 4090 will be decent for a little while, but I think from 4070 Ti down, don't even worry about it. Just get yourself an AMD card, man. Seriously, I think you will. I think you will appreciate the AMD experience a lot more than you're going to appreciate the Nvidia. I mean, like, yes, with Nvidia, you're going to feel like, yeah, I got the best, and you're going to have that like that feeling of like, yeah, man, I've got the best, you know, the graphics card, whatever. But in a way, you're pretty much just deluding yourself to the point where like you're not really going to be happy, and you're going to be making sacrifices that like like right out of the gate you'll probably be making sacrifices to like visuals and this and that, and like some games are just gonna be, you know, I don't know, man. Like, I hated that about Nvidia. That card was super embarrassing, man. That 3080, I felt so embarrassed every time I would cover a game on that, you know, after knowing what I know now. Like, that was very embarrassing, man. Like, oh, such a rookie move, man. I think that if you're building a new PC or you're coming into the PC space, don't even worry about Nvidia. Just buy AMD. 100%. Just buy AMD. Enjoy your experience. You're going to have fun with it. I hear everybody talking about bugs and blah, blah, blah. And man, I'm over 4 months with this graphics card now. Almost 5 months with this AMD graphics card. And this thing is absolutely 100% performed everything I needed to perform when I needed to perform it, and it's done good. So yeah, I'm excited about this, and I think it's absolutely incredible, and I think you should give AMD a try, especially if you're one of them people that are sick and tired of being nickel and dimed by Nvidia. Buy an AMD card. Everybody always says, yeah, man, we want AMD's prices to be cheaper, but then like nobody wants to buy it. Go out and buy it. I'm happy with mine. Go ahead and go buy one. I think you'll be all right. Playing RoboCop, when I played the demo, I was like, oh man, this is really bad, and you know, it was like stuttering all over the place. But I haven't even downloaded the new drivers, and I spent like 2.5 hours playing that game tonight, and yeah, no slowdown, no stutters, no nothing. It was just smooth experience. So yes, I do believe AMD is an absolute incredible product right now, at least for their 7000, 6000 series graphics cards. I think they're awesome, and you would do yourself a favor to save some money and buy something to help you clear your head and help you get, you know, like to help you come back down to earth and be like, okay, is all of that really worth the extra money that I'm going to spend on that graphics card? When you buy an AMD graphics card, you can spend more money on your freaking CPU, your storage, whatever you want. You can save that money and invest it in other places in your PC that might not be strong enough or might be holding you back. So if you like this content, don't forget to like and subscribe, guys. I'll see you guys in the next one. Thank you for watching.